If you weren't ready to commit, please go on another show. What are you talking about? In fact, just stay home. Just actually stay home, because what are you talking about? Hey guys, welcome back to my channel where we talk about all things movies, TV shows, and Hollywood. So as you know, we've been following Married at First Sight season 20. We're now on episode 4, and let's get straight into the review without wasting time. We start off with Michelle. So Michelle says she's getting more comfortable with Cameron after having spent the night sharing a bed with him. But she still wants to take it really, really slow with intimacy and build that emotional connection. So that's good for them. At least she wasn't icked out by him um, being sharing a bed with her and everything. So there's that. Marissa is really attracted to Adam. That's what she's saying. So the couples are pretty much moving at different paces. Marissa and Adam are clearly moving faster with the physical intimacy. They were already attracted to each other. They knew each other briefly, but still they knew each other, and they were already attracted to each other. So moving quite fast over there. They like the way they're moving. You would think they actually knew each other and dated for a little bit, and not had a 10-minute conversation. But everybody moves at their own pace. Whatever. I'm still suspicious of Adam. And I don't like, I'm not gonna take it that them moving faster is them having a stronger connection, because that's not necessarily what it might be. Okay, it might just be a physical connection. But yeah, Adam is still a bit shaky, but we'll see. Nikki, however, is really not attracted to Sean, and she said that verbatim. And guys, the way I was gagged, because we all know it. Like, don't get it twisted. We all know it. Like, but I wasn't expecting her to say it verbatim. That was crazy. So she actually admits that, yeah, I'm not feeling this man at all. However, she says that it could maybe potentially grow into a romance, and she could, I guess, grow to be attracted to him and grow to like him. Then we have Courtney. Courtney says that she's not really a touchy-feely person, and we're hoping that she's actually not touchy-feely and that this is not her way of saying that she's not attracted to Nick, period. Like, it might be that. You know, it might be like, sometimes you have to wait and see if people, when people start with, oh, I'm a slow burn, it takes me a long time. You have to be, like, we'll see. Then we have Tori is impressed with the matchmakers, and she and Felipe spent the night cuddling. So Tori's really happy with this match, and I'm happy for her that she got what she wanted, and they are moving, like, they're comfortable with each other as well. Back to Courtney. Y'all know, like, are you obligated, like, by a contract to get married? Like, once you agree to this assignment, you can't say no. Like I know with Love Is Blind you have the option to say no, but it's giving, once it's done over here, and you just kind of have to force it almost with Courtney and Nikki, I guess, until the experience is done. So we're gonna see, because I'm not all the way convinced that all these women are attracted to the men they're with. Nikki, she said it outright, and I almost have to respect it, because damn, she said it. Well, she said it in the interview, but she told us that on national television. That's crazy, but I respect it though. Okay, so then Mecca feels like Jolie is the female version of him. That's what he's saying. And I can see what he means. Like, very much so, they both agree that it's giving best friend vibes. They really are like easily able to talk to each other, to banter and everything. So they get along great. And it's basically giving you are me in female form, is what he's saying. Okay, so moving on to Caitlyn and Devin. So Caitlyn says that Devin's touchiness would have usually bothered her in the past, but she's okay with it now. We're gonna actually see later in this episode that that's a bunch of BS, but at least for now, she's saying that she's okay with it now. I don't know if that's her trying to convince herself once again, because you saying that in every other circumstance in the past it would have irritated you, but now you're okay with it. Girl, you're already wrong later on in this episode. But anyways, the honeymoons. So we're doing big honeymoons in Mexico. And then all the couples are there. This is before they get to meet each other. This is when it's just the individual couples. And then later on, we're going to do the group meetups. So Nick and Courtney, right? Nick is trying to get a bottle to open. So he's twisting, he's turning, like really fighting with this bottle to get it open. So then Courtney says, let me try, and she gets it first try. Open. And Nick's just like, this is really embarrassing for me. And I'm like, Nick, really? Oof, that's rough for you. But also at the same time, Courtney said earlier that she wanted a man who can do repairs and stuff, who's good with fixing things. And Nick was not able to fix, I think it was a coffee machine that needed to be. And she was like, do you know how to do this? And Nick was like, nah, I'm not good with that stuff. And then she was like, I'll do it myself. So she specially requested that with the experts is what she's saying, but that was the one thing that the experts did not get right for her. And I feel like that's going to continue to come up. I feel like that's going to be an issue. And she's very much so independent, it's giving, and very much so I can do it myself, but she wanted to fix her man. So I feel like, I don't know if Nick is the type of man that's going to feel emasculated, because she'll make some jokes here and there as well later on in the episode about, like basically being like stronger than him or something in the gym or something. So I don't know if Nick is the type to feel a type of way about it, but damn, this a mess. Okay. Then we have Tori and Felipe having a discussion about faith, and I'm like, yes. Let's get into the important stuff right now. Like, though I feel like, I don't know. I feel like it depends on how important it is to both of them for the partner to have that faith, because I feel like if it was really a deal breaker, they would have both put that in the I guess profiles they gave to the experts, but they didn't. So we now see that Tori is a Christian and Felipe is an atheist. And when Felipe says that, Tori is gagged. She is gagged. You understand? But he says that despite growing up Catholic, he's very much so an atheist now. And the silence. Then she's basically like, how do you feel about baptizing children though? Because I'm trying to have our children be baptized. You understand what I'm saying? And he's like, I don't feel any type of way about it. Like, he really doesn't feel any two ways. He's like, baptize them if you want. If you don't, it's really whatever. That's what it's giving. So he's not of her faith, but he is, I guess, willing to, if that's how she wants to raise the kids, it's giving that. I don't know, like I said, for Tori, I feel like if it was a deal breaker, she would have put it in the request. Religion is tough. I feel like if I was to get married, I would most definitely get married to, because I'm a Christian, I would get married to a Christian. I feel like I would not want to, I don't know, it would just, I don't know. I would just not want to have to disagree on those types of things. So it would be good if they matched on that, but they both seem like they're okay with the situation as is. So if they're both fine with it, that's cool. Then Tori is actually telling Felipe about how her faith was really important for her in getting healed from getting cheated on. So she was in this long-term relationship and she got cheated on. And faith helped her through it. And Felipe is now talking about, I've actually cheated before. And okay, so he comes out right with it. And he says, I made out with a girl that he wasn't with. And this was really a long time ago. And now we're finding out that it was just a makeout, which I'm not saying just a makeout, like it wasn't cheating, but I might have thought it would have been more based on episode 1. So, like, a makeout is bad, but it's not what I had in my head for him to have done cheating wise. But here is the part that had me side-eyeing Felipe, is he said that he never confessed to the cheating. So he intentionally kept it a secret, broke up with the girl, and then she had to find out through somebody else. And then he says he forgot. He says he blocked it out of his memory. Like what? I'm like, I don't know, he was eaten up by the guilt so much that he blocked it out of his memory. Whatever. Okay, so he wasn't honest with this girlfriend, And she's now finding out on the streets after they have broken up. That's crazy. That's crazy. And then Tori asks him if he's ready to be monogamous. So she's basically like, I don't necessarily believe once a cheater, always a cheater. Like, and people can change. And then he says that he doesn't know. Let me say that again. His wife asked him, are you ready to commit to one woman for the rest of your life and be monogamous? He said, I don't know. And see, this is why I knew I was going to have to side eye you eventually, Felipe. Much as we have liked you these past few episodes, I knew I was gonna have to come back to this because what are you talking about? You've not even changed. And like, my question is, if you don't know whether you're ready to commit to one woman, what are you doing in this TV show? What are you doing here in this experiment? Because what? Nah, you could have actually, if you weren't ready to commit, please go on another show. What are you talking about? In fact, just stay home. Just actually stay home, because what are you talking about? Felipe, literally, I couldn't believe it. He literally told this woman to her face, I don't know. And then when he looked at her face, because she was like, please stop playing in my face, basically, is what the expression was given. Because she was not responding. She was just like, so once he could see the reaction on her face, then he was like, I'm all in though. Yeah, I'm all in. I'm all in. I'm all in. So at first it was, I don't know. Now it's, I'm all in. I don't believe you. I believe the first thing you said, which is that you don't know. Because you waited until you saw that she was about to literally take the ring off and throw it on the table. I'm exaggerating. But she was literally about to drop your ass right there. And then you said, I'm all in. I feel like he's not ready to commit. On account of him being the only man on this show to have cheated and then proceeded, like, she literally gave you an out. She said, I don't believe once a cheater, always a cheater. She asked you, are you ready to now at this stage of your life be monogamous? And you couldn't say yes confidently. Now we appreciate the honesty, but confidently, you couldn't say yes 110% wife. Yes, my dear, wife. Because you're already married. This is not a talking stage, babe. This is not a situationship. You're married. Okay. So, anyways, these honeymoons are looking amazing. I'm not gonna lie. I almost see why people go on this show, because the free wedding and the free honeymoon. Like, I'm not gonna lie, with how expensive weddings are and vacations, I can hear it. I'm not gonna lie, but yeah, that's one thing. It looks, the aesthetic is almost clouding the issues with these couples. It looks pretty. It looks like, wow. It's giving romance. It's giving luxury. And then you look at the problems of these couples. Then you look at Felipe telling his wife that he's not ready to commit, and you're like, oh, you're not back to life, back to reality. Okay. So Michelle is now opening up to Cameron about her fibroids, and she is saying how, like, what a tough experience it was for her, and how she will need surgery again, because the surgery that she underwent did not completely fix the issues, and with that comes, like, uncertainty about her fertility, and that's a big concern. We know she wants to have kids, and she said that she's open to adoption, and she's been open to that ever since the whole thing. Like, she just kind of already mentally prepared herself for that to be the path that she ends up going. So then Cam says that actually his sister was adopted, and that's interesting. So Cam's sister was adopted, so he loves his sister, so he would also be open to that. I'm glad they're in agreement on that. I was holding my breath, because also the previews kind of did Cameron a bit dirty. Like, a bit. I say a bit because I feel like the preview after this episode kind of showed that maybe he's not on the same page. But the preview for episode 4 was looking like He was saying, hell nah, basically. Hell nah, I want to run away from you. But it's not even that. So now Belle and Mecca, now that they are alone, finally, without Mecca's dad up their asses, being an overly excessive third wheel, they can begin to connect. And Bella and Mecca are talking about basically how they're afraid of the other abandoning them. And I'm just like, I don't know. Like I said, they have the same or similar traumas of abandonment. And I'm going to keep saying this throughout this episode is I feel like you should enter a relationship after doing some healing and really doing maybe some therapy as well, if you know that these are the traumas you're coming in with. Because then it, like, I'm like, both of you are talking about abandoning, like, I don't know, it's giving you need constant reassurance about them not leaving, because this is like the second conversation they've had about it. Like, the first one was Mecca thinking that Belle was gonna eventually find him weird and eventually leave. And I'm just like, I need you both to heal. So I'm hoping this is one of the last times we're gonna hear them talking about abandoning each other, or feeling like the other one is gonna abandon them. And I'm hoping from here on out we're gonna get some reassurance. Because it cannot be every single day. It cannot be every single day the same chats. Moving on. Belle says that she actually wants a sisterhood with the women. So she feels like she wants to build connections with the women as well in this experience. And she's hoping that no one is going to act catty and just, do unnecessarily the most. Like, don't be around my man like that. Don't be around. Don't. Get your hands up. Get your hands up. So she's hoping that it's none of that drama. I feel like on all these shows I see, they always say, I want a sisterhood, and then it ends up like being absolute chaos because no one is a girl's girl for real. It's always the people that be saying, oh, I'm a girl's girl, that don't end up being girls' girls. But let's see about these women right here. So Sean and Nikki. Sean is basically admiring Nikki's body, and she says she maintains that using Pilates and all these other bunch of fitness stuff. She, on the other hand, is really not feeling the dad bod. So while Sean is over there admiring her body, she's like, I really never expected myself to ever be with someone with a dad bod, especially without the dad part. That's what she said, though. Especially, that's not what I said. That's what she said. Especially without the dad part. I said, ooh, damn. And I'm just like, I will continue to say, I feel like these are things that you could have specified in and amongst the deal breakers. But I feel like you didn't, because you said, I'll accept my husband however God gives him to me. So Sean actually said that he's giving up his self-serving habits now that he's married. Basically, yeah, I mean, like, I hear what he's saying. Like, I respect it, because he's saying that marriage comes with you having to constantly think about how your actions affect the other person, about how to, take care of them as well. So I hope he's really, really giving them up, because I hope, like, wait, when you said that, does that mean you have a lot of selfish tendencies, like annoyingly selfish? Because I feel like everyone, before, when you're single, it's about you, though. Your life is really about you, but I hope he's not gonna do annoyingly selfish tendencies, and we're gonna see that throughout here. But he says he's given that up. So then Sean asks Nikki how she has grown from past relationships. So he's talking about, I've grown so much. I'm not selfish anymore now that I'm married. How have you grown from past relationships? And she's intentionally vague about it. She says, I'm really not open to talking about the details of how I've grown. Like, she gives like vague answers here and there about how she's grown. And he's like, but how? What were the circumstances? Where? When? Why? With whom? And she's like, I don't like this line of questioning. Why are you giving me the third degree? What's going on? I just met you. I really just met you, and you want me to now break down my entire history and tell you exactly what I had to fix to be ready to be a wife. I don't understand it. So Yeah, she's just very annoyed because she feels like the way Sean talks is very academic and very robotic. And he is basically like, and that conversation definitely gave it get like, what can I describe it as? Like a courtroom, like she was sitting in a witness stand. I was like, relax, Sean, it's actually okay. So she feels like he needs to put more emotion into the way he addresses her, because she feels like she's talking to literally a robot. So back to Tori and Felipe. Felipe asks what Tori wanted out of like marriage and this experience right here. And she said that she was looking for a loyal man. That's her number one thing. And immediately I'm just like, did you tell the experts that? Because if you did, like I'm not remembering. I don't think she said that in episode 1. But well, I can't really say, with the rest of them I'm like, maybe you should have specified that. But I feel like you shouldn't have to specify that you want somebody to be loyal to you in a marriage. I feel like, you know what I'm saying? I feel like that should be expected. And I wish that Felipe had gone up to Paul and told Paul that he didn't know he was ready to be monogamous in the interview with Paul. Because I feel like Paul would have looked at him and said, you know what? Bye. Okay, you know what? Like, literally, don't let the door hit you on the way out, type of thing. But now he's down to the altar. He said the vows. You're wearing the ring and you're on your honeymoon talking about you're not ready. I'm really not gonna forget this because, guys, I was shocked and stunned. Do you understand telling your wife that you're not ready to commit to a relationship with her and her alone? That's crazy. I'm really not trying to forget this. Like, wow. On national television as well. So then Tori tells us that the man she was with, the cheater, was a live-in boyfriend, and basically he cheated on her with a girl that is basically her younger sister's age. And it was basically like the other woman came to her as a woman via text and was like, hey girl, this is what's going on. Your man is out here in the streets. And Tori actually said that she actually met up with the girl. I think she said she bought her a drink or something. So they met up because Tori was like, you're my sister's age. I actually feel for you. Like, listen, I'm heartbroken, but I feel for you because I feel like if somebody did that to my sister, I'd be so ill. So anyways, that's how she navigated that situation. And you can clearly tell that based on that experience, Tori is like, I'm really not trying to deal with a cheater anymore. And I hope Felipe is listening with both ears and doesn't play in this lady's face. But I don't really have that much faith. So then we have Belle and Mecca on a boat. So then Belle is very clear that she wants them to have a romantic side to their relationship as well as the friendship side. She feels like they're good best friends, but she also wants the romance. She doesn't want them to be giving homies all the time. You know what I'm saying? So she actually wants Mecca to take the lead. And I hear it. Yeah, she's like, you tell me where you are at romantically and I'll follow you. And he doesn't really respond. And I'm getting the sense that once again it's coming back to his fear of rejection. And Mecca, I need you to lock in, because she's telling you, she's basically saying that she's waiting on him. That's what she's saying. Like, she wants them to progress. And basically she was setting the pace at the wedding. So like when she was like, no, kiss me on the cheek, you're gonna a cheek kiss because I don't know you like that. So I'm really hoping that Mecca is also listening with both ears, just like Felipe should be, and that he's going to initiate more. And Bella is gonna, I like, out of everyone, I have a bit of faith in these two. You know what I'm saying? So I'm really hoping this works out. But I need both of them to not be so held down by their traumas that they fail to make this relationship progress in the way it could, if this is gonna work out. So then moving on to Courtney and Nick. Courtney and Nick's chats have stayed awkward. They have stayed awkward. And she says she's actually very bored. And literally, they are by the hotel pool and bar, and they are basically failing to talk about anything. Like, they're just sitting there. She's looking at him, he's looking at her, and they're actually just, it's very awkward, and I can see why she's bored. And I'm like, girl, you were worried about him getting bored and leaving you. You already bored, because I don't know why they're failing to make conversation as well. Like, what's going on? But then also, Nick opens up to us in a confessional. He said that he basically did computer science as a way for him to impress his parents, because Courtney's talking about how she didn't really feel pressure from her parents. They've never pressured her to follow a particular path. But with him, he felt like computer science was a good way to impress them when he went to MIT. But he was really a theater kid in high school. It really gave that. And his theater teachers, he says, really believed in him, but he never went down the acting route because he went to MIT. But then he said that reality TV actually helped him to explore, the more artsy stuff. And this is the first time I almost understand Nick just a little bit, because I hear it, like he wanted a chance to do more artsy than academic stuff. So that's why he's really gone on so many shows. My thing is, you've gone on so many dating shows. That's what's going on with me. This is what, bruh, as far as I know, the one I've seen him from, this is his second dating show. Well, marriage show, technically. Um, but I'm just like, it gets to a point. It's like, if you just want the clout, just say that. Because I feel like if you wanted to maybe do acting, you could have maybe done something more in that realm. And you wanted to do theater and more stuff like that. I feel like reality TV, I hear it, it's artsy, but it's also like, it's not really like acting. Unless you are putting on a performance, is what you're saying, though. Unless that's what you're doing. Because reality TV, you're allegedly being genuine. So it's not really giving theater. It's not really giving that. But yeah, this is why I'm saying I somewhat understand him, but I don't completely understand him, because I feel like he is still here for the clout. Um, it's reassuring the fact that he has a 9 to 5. He actually has a day job, but still, what are you doing here? So then we have Devin and Caitlin, and they are by some, I don't like, what do you call that, a creek? Anyways, they're somewhere doing some like diving off like a cliff, something by the water. Anyways, that's what they're doing. I really don't go outdoorsy for real, so that's probably why. But all the food looks amazing. That's a side note. Like, all the food looks literally so delicious. So this whole episode, I was literally like, this looks very cinematic, and I like that. I do. The food looked amazing. I almost wished I could grab it through the screen, but that's very much a side note. So then Caitlin is telling us how she doesn't really get in touch with her emotions, but she likes that Devin is in touch with his. And Devin really said that he enjoys pouring into people. And I'm just like, just keep a mental note of the fact that Caitlin said she's not really in touch with those emotions, okay? So then Devin is telling us that he's actually getting more of a standoffish vibe from this. And I completely understand. Like, from her side, she's like, I'm not in touch with my emotions. From his side, it's like, I'm the only one putting effort into this relationship, and you're kind of putting up a wall. You're just kind of closed off over there. And I don't know how we're supposed to make this work if I'm the only one trying out here. So then Sean and Nikki are very much on different pages about like their intimacy discussion. So they're basically doing a video, and she is saying that they have agreed to not be intimate. And then Sean in that video is like, wait a minute, when did we agree to that? When did we? And she's like, no, last night we said we were taking it slow, but you never discussed this with, but no, you agreed that we were taking it, no, but you never discussed this with me. The communication is lacking. And I don't know. I feel like Nikki has been very, very, very abundantly clear that she's not ready for intimacy. I don't know what more you want to hear. But he's like, you made that decision without telling me, and I would be fine with it. Like, obviously, If you're not ready for intimacy, absolutely, but include me in the decision. And like, while I kind of hear what he's saying, I'm like, from my perspective, it's like, I don't know what else she's gonna have to tell you to convince you that she's not physically attracted to you at this moment. Like, the intimacy is not happening right now, and I'll tell you that for free, Sean. You understand? And then she says that she is tired of him acting robotic once again. So, Sean, you're hearing this from a whole HR manager. And one thing I know about HR is their discussions very much give very, very, very much so robotic. But you're talking to an HR manager and she's telling you that you're being too robotic about it, because she's not trying to take her job home with her. Do you understand what's going on? Do you understand what's going on? She's not like, it doesn't give that she's trying to take her, like, you are treating this marriage like it's one of your academia projects, and nobody is messing with that. And I just feel like if Nikki is ever going to be attracted to Sean, he's going to have to act more human, as she wants him to speak to her like she's a human. So there's that as well. And I'm just like, she's already not attracted to you physically. The least you can do is let her be attracted to you emotionally, is what I feel like. But she's addressed this with him, so hopefully he takes this on. So back to Devin and Caitlyn. Devin actually feels a type of way because Caitlyn went to the gym without him. And like, I hear it, like they had basically agreed to both go to the gym together. He wakes up the next morning, she gone. And he's like, I thought we said we were going together. What's going on? Then you disappeared. But here's the thing. He says he's now falling in love. Why? Devin, hold on. Hold on. We just arrived. We actually just arrived. Please slow down. There's no need to rush, okay? One step at a time. There's no need to rush. It's like learning to fly or falling in love. Slow it down. It's okay. So then he's like, how can you want alone time all the time? Like, I get it, you want your alone time, but you're married. You want to be alone 24/7. And he's like, if you wanted that, then why you get married? Basically. And I hear it. It's just like, bruh, you didn't expect to need to hang out, or want to. I should say you should want to hang out with your husband from time to time during the day if you're married. This is another thing of like, I feel like if you were not ready for this connection, what are you doing on this show? I'm just confused. But anyways, so then we go to the meetup, right? So we have Adam and Felipe. So then we go to the meetup. All the couples are now seeing each other together for the first time. Like, so Adam is actually saying, because they met in the first episode, he's talking about how he wasn't sure who Felipe would go with because he has a lot of energy, basically, is what Adam is saying. And I'm like, Adam, that's a really interesting way to put it, but we understand what you're saying by Felipe has a lot of energy. And we also were wondering who he was going to go with. High key, I'm not going to lie. Based on episode 1, I was already side-eyeing Felipe. So I was with you on that, okay? So then Belle and Caitlyn. Belle is basically saying that Devin gives golden retriever, and Caitlyn, they basically say at the same time that Caitlyn is giving black cat. So that's what the girls are talking about over there. So the girl chat is basically saying that this is the trope it's giving. And it does give that, but also at the same time, I don't want that to be an excuse for Caitlyn to act like she really does. Like, if you don't like the man, just say that. If you don't want to be married, just say that. But then I'm like, what are you doing here? So then we have Courtney and Felipe chatting. Okay. So they are chatting about pasta because Felipe is basically talking about cooking and the restaurant. Then they end up talking about the gym. And then they end up laughing and having a silly, goofy time. And then Courtney says that this is exactly what she wants with Nick. They were talking about the most random things. So then she's like, this is the type of silly energy I need with Nick. But he is too, basically, like, Nick is, I guess, like I said, Nick is putting on, I think I said this in my last review, that Nick is putting on this whole appearance. He's so worried about his appearance on this TV platform that I feel like he's not being as relaxed in his real self. Like, I don't know if he's fun. I might be assuming that he's fun and goofy, but if there is a fun and goofy side to him, he's not showing it because he doesn't want to, like, present himself a wrong way on camera. And this is the problem coming on these shows for the clout. Okay. So he's not relaxed enough. And we all know Felipe, one thing he's going to do is have a good time. One thing about Felipe, he may not be here for a long time, but he's here for a good time. Okay. So then Felipe is now talking about how this is the couple, Nick and Courtney are the couple he has the least faith in because he's not sure about Nick's intentions. Felipe, again, I'm with you on that one. I'm with you on that one too. And I find it so crazy that the guys are able to clock each other, but they cannot clock themselves. I need you to start with the man in the mirror. That's what's going on. So, and I find that ironic that Felipe said that because Nick actually said in episode 1 that he thought he was going to be the best out of all these couples, especially out of Felipe. So Nick was already like, I already know my marriage is going to be the best one out of all of these before he even met Courtney. And we were side-eyeing him then. So that's crazy. Once again, guys, look in the mirror. Like, I appreciate you telling the boys that, but look in the mirror, though. Occasionally, from time to time. You know what I'm saying? Then we have the girls. So the girls are basically talking about intimacy, where they are at this stage. And it's basically what we established at the beginning of the episode. Tori saying she cuddles with them guys every day. And Marissa is the, what's his name? Felipe every day. And then Marissa is saying that she, like, they're basically moving the fastest. Like, she's extremely physically attracted to him. Nikki can't say nothing. Then the boys get to talking as well. Adam basically gets asked, no, actually everyone asks, who has basically been intimate? And Adam is like, I don't kiss and tell. Basically, they're going around. This one is saying, oh, yes, no, yes, no. Adam is like, I'm not going to tell you that. I don't owe you that information. And I like that. I hope he wasn't doing it to be performative, but I really do like that. Because why? And Mecca felt the type of way that Adam didn't want to say that. If I don't want to tell you, I'm not going to tell you. Why I got to tell you? In my marriage? Husband and wife? I don't have to tell you nothing. I don't owe you that. Let's move on. Beljolie and Mecca are separately telling the girls and the boys that they made out, actually. And so she is now starting to feel the feelings. That's what she says. So they are also progressing physically. Devin says that he feels like he's putting a lot of effort in that connection with Caitlyn. And we know that Caitlyn is really not matching him in terms of him wanting physical touch as his love language. And he says that she's basically independent. But while she's independent, he wants to care for her. He wants to take care of her. So it's just a lot going on. It's giving mismatch right now. It's currently giving mismatch. I don't know. It could change, but right now it's not giving hopeful. So does Caitlyn want a relationship? That's my question. I literally wrote here in my notes, does she want a relationship? Because I feel like you don't. It's what I feel like. So I'm like, based on the way you're acting, it's not giving you want a relationship. But also at the same time, has she been to therapy for all these bunch of toxic relationships she said she has been in? The multiple she said she's been in. The every type of toxic relationship she says she has been in. Where is the therapy? So then Nikki is saying that Sean actually does a few different things to take care of her, like making her coffee, getting her to meditate. He meditates every morning, so now she's getting into it as well. And he actually told her that he wants to be her soft place. That's what she's telling us. So, okay, from what's not being shown on camera, it seems like these guys also have sweeter moments as well. So we'll see. But I feel like they have to get past a whole lot of miscommunication and a whole lot of not being attracted on Nikki's part. So it's an uphill battle up here. Okay. So then Caitlyn and Courtney have this last conversation of the episode where they're talking about how they both need alone time. Courtney is just sick and tired of Nick. I'm not gonna lie. She's not, and I don't 100% blame her, but why are you not talking to him about it though? Does Nick know that you're tired of Nick? Does Nick know that you want to switch up the conversation though? You want to keep things interesting? Communicate that though. Okay. And then Caitlyn is talking about how she also needs alone time. And that I really don't get. Because for Courtney, I hear it like, I'm not gonna lie, the scenes with her and Nick were actually painful to watch, but she was at least around Nick. You are actively running away, Caitlyn. It's giving you a runner, you a track star. That's what it's giving, because you are really not trying to be around this man ever in your life. That's what it's really giving. And I don't know if these two are in the same boat, but they're talking like they are. So they both want alone time. Caitlyn, do you want a relationship? Is really how I'm just gonna end this episode. That's my main takeaway. That and Felipe is not ready to be monogamous. And that's really that really sums up this episode. The big themes here over here. People are just being unserious. But let's continue. I'll be back with the review for episode 5. If you have any thoughts that are different than mine, put them in the comments. And don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. And I'll see you in the next one.